Call to order. Wake up. Welcome to the March Quorum Court Finance and Budget Committee. Welcome everybody here. Appreciate everybody coming out. We'll start today with prayer and pledge, and JP Dennis will lead us in.
We will pray. Heavenly Father, we gather today as your humble servants seeking wisdom and unity for the Quorum Court of Washington County. Guide our minds to make just decisions, strengthen our hearts to serve with fairness, and fill us with grace to honor one another. May every word spoken reflect your truth, and every action bring peace to our community, and bless this meeting and all who participate now and always. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. We pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, JP Dennis. There we go. So item 3 is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda? JP Bruns.
I have an item I'd like to add to the agenda, please. It's an appropriation ordinance. On 2025-0-083. That's the item.
So he passed out a copy of an ordinance, an amendment to the budget that he would like to add to the agenda. We'll add that as item 8. That was a motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have a motion by JP Bruns to add this item to the agenda, and a second by JP Coger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We'll add that as item 8, JP Bruns, if that's okay.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt the modified agenda. So I have a motion by JP Lemming, right? Seconded by JP Ricker to accept the agenda as modified. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Agenda is adopted. Item 4, Treasurer's Report. Treasurer Hill. You hit that button for. Thank you.
All right, we're on. All right, 4.1, Treasurer Summary. Not just a whole lot going on in February, but like usual. First line always general fund. 4.5 came in, 4.9 went out. Ended the month with 17.6 million in the bank for the general fund. And the road fund, 2,000 road, it brought in about what it spent. And 3017 jail revenues was a little bit over expenditures. At the back end of this report, on the bottom of this report, 79.2 million we began the month with and ended with 75 million. 4.2, the ARPA report, about 280,000 spent out of the COVID mitigation project, and that leaves us about 2.9 million remaining in that fund. And it's not shown here, but the revenue replacement, 600,000 was spent out of there in February on the same COVID mitigation project. 4.3, the 1 cent sales tax. Second month in a row, we were down just a little this month, and that's directly due to the annexation we talked about last month. You'll see in just a second, the jail tax was up just a little bit, so they should be the same percentage, but since the annexation took it, they won't catch up with each other for like a year from now. But anyway, this 1 cent tax was 0.36 down. Good news was this was the only second time in history that this tax brought in $1 million. The only other time was last year at this time. And this is December money, so that's the Christmas season. 4.4 jail tax, 1.38% above last year at this time, 1.6 million came in. And that's all I have for February.
Any questions for JP, or for Treasurer Hill? JP Bruns?
Are you the one to pass this out?
No, I
No.
think Comptroller Sherman passed that out. He's going to talk about.
He's gonna talk about
Yes,
that
sir.
in a little
Yes.
bit? Okay.
Any other questions for Treasurer Hill? JP Ecke?
Just real quick. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Refresh my memory, who annexed what?
This last time, I think is Greenland.
Greenland, that's
Yes.
right.
About 300 and something residents went into Greenland out of the county.
And then, with that happening, what is the percentage of our share of the pie now? It's shrinking every time it gets annexed.
Yeah, it went from like 16.3 down to 16, what did I say, 16.13? I'll have to look back. 16.13 currently. It goes down every, of course, every
Time.
census, and then whenever somebody annexes, it goes down right then, so. And no, there's not really anything we can do about it.
Okay. I'm just, okay, thank you.
Now, you're welcome.
JP Lemon?
Bobby, what did you say last time, how much money that cost us? Was it 300, 400, approximately?
On the,
How much we lost because they was annexed in?
I think it's about 7,000 or 8,000.
7,000 or 8,000?
Yes.
That would be?
Per month.
Per month. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Treasurer Hill? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item 5 is the employee insurance report. Mr. Angel?
Good evening. And it's actually still light outside when coming here. That feels pretty good, right? I don't know how y'all feel about time change, but I like it this way. All right, so this is probably the biggest smile I've seen on my face in about 2 years, because this is the best piece of paper I've had in front of me in about 2 years. So we have our January numbers here. You know, I told you all that I was very excited about the new funding Comptroller Sherman came up with, as well as our new drug program for specialty drugs, because so much of our spending has been on those specialty drugs. So I'll just start with the bottom line that matters. You look at our funding for January, it was $724,220.28. You go over the total cost, that was $599.1158. So the number that matters is all the way down there at the bottom, and it's green for the first time in a long time. So our insurance fund is in the positive through January, $125,208.70. Thank you. There's 11 more months to go, but it's been a while since we've started in the positive. So now, if you guys don't mind, I want to kind of dive in a little bit on the how we got here, okay? So I'm just going to start using round numbers. We're plus $125,000. The majority of that came from our new prescription program, all right? So I think some of you may recall last month I kind of went over this in a warning of, once you see rebates coming in, don't be panicked that the rebates are looking lower, because the total spend is going to be lower, all right? So for this program that we're using, our fixed costs went up just a little bit. We pay approximately $8,600 a month for this fixed cost specialty pharmacy program that we're using. But part of that was we wrote in a guarantee that the county would see at least a 2-to-1 ROI, or they would refund 100% of the monies we pay them at the end of the year. So I was definitely okay taking that gamble of spending $8,600 a month, knowing that we were guaranteed about $17,000 a month, all right? But then we have pretty much unlimited upside, because as you guys know, and Justice Lemming has pointed out, some of the wildly expensive specialty drugs that are out there. I hope this number continues to go up, because, you know, the first month is really, you're kind of slow getting into it, but they gave us numbers late last week on what our savings was through the drug program in January. The savings, based on what we actually paid through foundations, manufacturers' assistance, 340B, all those things, What we actually paid was $102,000 less than what we would have paid in December had we gone through our traditional pharmacy benefit manager. So those employees and their dependents got the exact same drug from the exact same manufacturer and the exact same dosage, but we were able to pay $102,000 less for it. And all of those are maintenance meds that are on this list. So what that means is we'll save, as long as that employee or dependent stays on the health plan, we're gonna save $102,000 a month, every month. That's a 12-to-1 ROI, which beats the tar out of that 2-to-1 guarantee they gave us. So again, this isn't a fix-all, but if you can tell, there's a little less stress on me. I'm breathing a little easier, because if we can save $1.2 million a year on our specialty drug spend, it is going to make for some very happy employees come open enrollment this next year. All right.
Any questions for Mr. Angel?
Thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy your evening.
Item 6, the Comptroller's Report, Comptroller Sherman.
One of the drugs we got this month under that was 40,000 for one month's supply. That's how crazy the pharmaceutical industry is right now. So, let's see what we got. Okay, statement of operations first. We're 16.7% through the year, and I don't see anything that's out of whack there. Some of the ones that are above the 16%, they're front-loaded contracts that we pay for up front and get them over with. The health insurance fund, which you guys know I watch quite closely, is back up to $1 million, so that's a good thing. So hopefully we'll keep this trend going for the year and maybe see a positive year in healthcare stuff. Is there any questions on the statement of operations? Still early in the year. So then the second report is the unappropriated reserve balance. There wasn't much action last month. The only ordinance you guys recognized, like 80,000 of RSAT money that actually came in, so we put that on the books. That's a positive number, so it added to the unappropriated reserve. Is there any questions on that? Okay, so tonight I handed out, we have to put the financial statement in the paper, the 2025 financial statement. It's required to be in the paper by March 15th. So that's this Sunday. I try to put them in the Sunday papers because it is one of the only ones I think that's still printed out. I wanted to talk about it and present it to you a little bit so you're not blindsided on it. I wanted to start, though, with the 10-year look back to explain why we have a deficit this year, because we do have a $24 million deficit this year, what you can see there. But if you look back from 20 to 22, we had a $38.9 million surplus, and that was all because of COVID funds coming in. So when that happened, you guys, you know, some of it was spent, some of it was appropriated towards the jail and EOC. That money basically just sat there until these coming years in 20 and 25, so 24 and 25. That's why you'll see the big deficit this year. The 24 was 1.9 million, and 25 was 24 million is the deficit this year. But like I say, if you look at the 10-year look back, the overall surplus was $15 million. And one of the reasons why I like that, that sort of jives with how much money that we have in reserve. Because in our reserve account, we have $15 million. So fiscally, like I've said up here before, I still think we're doing fiscally good. You know, appropriating the money appropriately, saving what we can. And I think that $15 million is about 3 months in operating capital, so we're looking good there. So, is there any questions on this report? What you will see is the cash balance and the overall budget next year will keep going down. So you can see the cash balance was like, we held over 80 million for 3 years, and now it's down to 62 million. which that number kind of jives too, because it's $22 million less, which we have a $24 million budget, so $24 million deficit this year. Is there any questions on that whatsoever? I didn't want to put that in the paper and, you know, get a bunch of questions on, okay, no, that's the handouts that I gave, these two handouts. So one's the 10-year look back, it's cash flow trends, and I just wanted, that explains why we have a $24 million deficit this year.
Did you find it, JP Dennis? Looks like this. JP Bruns?
Yes, sir. 24 million seems like a really high number to,
Yeah, I think it's
For
I think it's
deficit.
I think it's right on the money when you do the math as far as, because we had $10 million sitting in the revenue replacement. And then we had 14 million in ARPA money. Like 9 million of that was going
I
towards
see.
COVID mitigation. And I think 5.4 million or something like that was going towards.
I got you.
And then the other thing is we did give, I think, 1.4 million of that rental assistance. We gave that back. So that's where that deficit comes from. So, and that's the purpose of this statement right here, is to let everybody know not to panic. Everything's good. We're just doing things as planned.
JP Lemming?
Thank you. What is Washington County's total debt today?
We'll get into that in this next, on the financial statement.
Okay.
But true debt that we have left on the Johnson County, Johnson Controls deal, that's what I consider true debt. It's like 6-point-something million is still left on that.
Well, that's not everything we've leased and everything we've bought.
No, and that's on this next report too, and we can go down through that.
Okay.
So the financial statement is this next one, and this is what's going to be published in the paper on Sunday. So all those revenues, basically what they do is they say, okay, they break it out in 3 categories. You got general funds, road funds, and then other funds. Other funds are like the various grants, things like that come in. So if you look, and those numbers correspond with those 25 numbers on the other page. Basically, the net revenues were $106 million for the year, and that's adding up those net revenues, 57 million, 15 million, and 34 million on the top. That bottom one, yeah. And then you have the beginning cash balances and ending cash balances on the top there, which correspond, you know, when we began 25, we had 84 million in the bank over all the accounts. When we began 26, we had 62 million. You'll see that number come down again. Probably won't come down as drastically, though. It's just whatever's left over in the ARPA money. Is there any questions on the revenue portion of this statement? Okay, going on to the expenses, and this is how, and I don't know how many of you guys have seen this before. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the first time. This gets published in the paper every single year. Last year, I was new to the action, so we got it into the last minute. This year, I understand a lot better. So the expenditures, if you see that general government, highway, health, law enforcement, public safety, that's how it's broken out in the financial manual for counties. That's on the same piece of paper under expenditures. I'm looking at this one. Yep. So the expenditures right now, which is in the middle of the page. So basically, under general funds, we had a total expenditures of 66 million, and then 16 million under roads. That one's pretty clean. That is just out of the roads fund. You don't see any other funds there. And then 48 million under other funds. That's where the ARPA funds and all that kind of stuff falls under there. So then the debt service, the principal and our payments about 514,000 on that $6 million loan. And of that, the principal is 300,000 and then the interest is 214,000. So we pay about 500,000 a year on that $6 million that's outstanding. It's like a 20-year loan. Yeah. Yeah. So then if you get there down, is there any questions on the expenses? I can tell you like, you know, general health is the major catch-all. Highways and streets, that's pretty self-explanatory, mostly road. Health, what goes into health is the county health department, the ambulance service, and animal shelter falls under health too. Law enforcement's a big catch-all. That's sheriff, jail, all the courts, prosecuting attorney, public defender, coroners are under there, JDC, HIDA, and then various grants, anything associated with law enforcement. So if you see those two figures across law enforcement, 29 million and 34 million, that's basically our biggest cost in this county is, and that's one of our major missions is law enforcement. So, and the jail's in there, you can detention and all that kind of stuff. Because some of it gets paid out of the general fund and some of it gets paid out of grant money and other kind of funds. So actually grant money this year, because we were building the jail, that would have been other funds, you know, on the COVID mitigation. And then there's a ton of different grants, the opiate grants, the, you know, goes towards SWAT, goes towards, there's a lot of different grants that get paid for there. Let's see, recreation, or public safety is the next one. Public safety is the Department of Emergency Management. The money we give to the fire departments, emergency 911, and then once again, various grants. So if you add those two figures up, it's about 9.5 million for public safety. Recreation and culture is basically the library in full. That's the only account. Culture, yeah, that's basically the library fund. And that fund, you know, is set by the state anyways. It just passes right through. Social services, that's Veteran Affairs, the Extension Office, and then there was a rental assistance was considered social services that came out of the COVID mitigation money. And I think this year we actually gave some of that back. It was like 1.4 million, so. Is there any questions on the expenses there and how they're broke out, or?
JP Lemon?
Thank you, Chair. The 48.39 million, how much is COVID money in there?
I could break that out. My guess is,
So in other words,
it'd be about 14 million.
about 14, so
Yeah.
that'll go away.
Correct,
Is this the last year of all that?
correct.
It's got to be all gone by then, so
It has to be
14.
all gone by the end of this year.
And that 16.560, it says highway and streets.
That is straight road fund, yeah.
So that's,
And
is that buying equipment or is that buying gravel and oil and?
everything, yeah,
So that spends that for everything that it is.
correct.
Is that how much did that tax bring in last year? You got that number?
I will say that you see that there was, that's one where the deficit is a pure deficit. So, but there was money built up in the bank. That money has been slowly spent down over the years. And this year, like if you look at unappropriated reserve funds, there's very little room this year.
Well, that's because of all the equipment that we've bought and leased, and that's where we don't have money to do other stuff with to pay for all that.
We're running tight.
Yeah,
right
we're running
now.
tight. Okay, thank you.
Yep. The transfer ins and transfer outs, that's basically, sub-zero, or it's a zero game, because basically we'll transfer money, Treasurer he'll pay back, the general fund, for covering down on the different various accounts that what are some of the accounts, Bobby? Like the, treasurer's automation fund, all those kind of things, the assessor, da-da-da-da-da. So those are just transfers within the county. If you add up all those numbers, the net is zero because it's all money being transferred within here. But it does change how you look at the, where the money came from out of like general roads and other funds.
J.P. Bruns?
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Sherman, I keep getting these phone calls and hearing rumors telling me that we've got a computer program out here that we purchased some years ago and are paying on every year, but I never see that when I come up to look at these. Where is that at in here?
That would be under the general funds, and then down in the bottom where that's where we're still liable, and I'll talk about the liabilities here in the short run. But so
Are we still liable on that one?
we are still liable on that.
How much?
There's probably 2 more years left on that contract. We paid 3 years,
How much a year?
$113,000.
Wow, and we've never used it.
Not as of yet, but I do think that it's about ready to be implemented. They are still working towards implementation.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Is there any other questions on the overall?
J.P. Coger?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is, could you go over that again, what you said about the rental money? You said we gave it back. We gave it back to whom?
I think, yeah, the federal government. Didn't we, Bobby, send some money back?
DRA 1, we gave back.
To the federal government?
DRA 2, we paid to.
Accelerate, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
I just want to be sure, thank you.
And both of those would be in that figure.
J.P. Massengale?
Yeah, thank you, Comptroller. So what all's in this general government? What all
Oh,
gets funded out of that?
general government is like catch-all. I mean, that's like comptroller, county judge, assessor, circuit clerk, county clerk, you know.
All the
so-
salaries?
Yeah, salaries and all their budget and everything, so. Unless they're doing something that would be in the law enforcement, you know. Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So then if you want, is there any more questions on the expenses and stuff? I'll talk about these liabilities at the bottom there, which right now I'm tracking about 28 million in liabilities. And that is all of our contracts. So we view them, long-term debt would be long-term contracts, anything over a year, short-term within the year it's due. And then we have 2 other catch-alls there. Construction liabilities, that's what we have left on the CMP. And then they separate out reappraisal, and that is a contract that the assessor has for software and also appraisal services. And I think that you can see it on the bottom there, that's 2.6 million on that contract. If you look within the lease agreements, which is the top there, lease agreements is copiers, Department of Emergency Management towers that they have, their communication towers, we lease some towers, ambulance service, or no, dump trucks lease, and the crusher are the big ones there. And that's that, on the roads, that's at 1.5 million, you see. And then service agreements, that's pretty much everything else that we signed contracts on. That's all of our software's in there. The Johnson Controls loan, which is I have 6.45 million, so that's the number that's left on there. Fire alarm services and backflow, central EMS, and the central EMS is 5.6 million. So the two biggest things in that is the debt for the Johnson Controls, which is about 6 million, and then we got a contract with the ambulance service, which is like 5 million. It's 5 years. It's $1 million a year or something like that. So, but when you add up all those, all of our contracts, all of our debt, it's $28 million. No, that's our liabilities that we're on the hook for going in the future. Now, a lot of those get paid for with operating capital and stuff coming in. What I consider true debt is that 6.4 million. That was a bond that was issued to pay for Johnson Controls, which truthfully, I don't really know what they do. I've never seen anything that has come out of that. Huh? Yeah, so. That was like originally a $8-point-something million deal, and it's like over 20 years. Our payments on that is around $500,000 a year. It fluctuates. So.
JP Massengale?
Well, I was just gonna ask the same question about what you're talking about. No, I don't know. What is this Johnson Controls you guys are talking about?
Well, from my understanding, because this was me being in the position, but they came in and did some stuff with the thermostats and changed water flow in the toilets, and I think the solar field out by the sheriff's office was in that. So there's a lot of things wrapped into that. Now, what they're supposed to do in the future is like they were supposed to monitor certain things and then give us feedback.
I know, I'm sorry, but I just want, when you say monitor, are we still paying them $30,000 or $40,000 a year to give us that monitor? Report?
I don't think so. I think it's part of this I would say we're paying them close to $500,000 a year.
I know what you got. I know what you're paying.
It's part of in the debt. I mean, so.
Sounds like an energy efficiency
Yeah.
contract.
That's what it was for, yeah. Mm-hmm. My understanding.
When was that put into place?
I can't even guess. 2020, yeah.
I know you did.
Excuse me, can you use his microphone because people at home are not gonna hear this.
Any other questions for Comptroller Sherman?
Okay.
JP Rio Stafford?
I'll wait. If you still got more presentation, I'll wait. Till
No,
the
no,
end.
no,
Okay.
no, I'm done.
All right. So, I had a question actually going back to the first sheet.
Okay.
So I understand, our budgets have been kind of wacky for years now because of all the COVID relief funds.
Correct.
And that's why we are showing the deficit in 2024 and 2025. Why, I noticed, and this is before I was on the quorum court, there were deficits in 2017 and 2019. Do you remember why that was?
I don't remember why.
Well,
because
you weren't here either. Yeah.
No, I don't know
I was just
why.
wondering when you put this together.
Yeah, no, because all I did was use the previous financial statements that went in the paper. And,
Some of us were here back then. I wasn't.
yeah,
I wasn't here when Johnson Controls went in, so.
yeah.
So going back to that same subject, will this year kind of be like the first year since the pandemic started and we started getting all these COVID relief funds that we're going to get a sense of like normalcy? Or do you think next year?
2027 will be normalcy.
2027 will be normalcy. We'll
Should be.
finally,
Like, I'm not gonna
at the
say-
end of next year, we'll finally know what our normal
That's right.
county cash flow will be, assuming that there's not some other crazy thing that happens.
That's right.
Okay, all right.
Because most of this is like, everything's been inflated because they dropped a
Yeah.
bunch of money on us,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. The budget will actually come down too. The actual budget request will come down. Because like this year, there was 10 million in revenue replacement that was budgeted. There was 14 million in ARPA that was budgeted.
Yeah.
So I would, you know, that 24 million's not gonna be there. I only think that there's like about 6 million left of that or something.
Yeah. So my first year on the Quorum Court was 2021. So the entire time that I've been up here, the budget has been wacky because of all this COVID money. And so it'll be interesting to see what, you know, when we get back to baseline, you know, I'm sure it's been very hard to, it's been hard to budget.
Yeah,
It's been
oh,
hard
for sure.
to-
Well, it hadn't been hard because we
It's
have
been
an
hard to get-
abundance of money, but
Yeah,
I
well,
don't think,
yeah,
my
but it's-
paranoia level's
it's
going up a
one
little
time.
bit as we go into the 27.
yeah, right,
But
yeah.
I think, you know, the county's growing. I don't foresee I don't foresee our revenue on the taxes going down. I mean, you see that a
Yeah.
little bit just because of that annexation, but it's still
No, it's
a
going up
decent
and up.
amount. Yeah.
So, okay, thank you.
JP Lemming?
One more question, thank you. The 11 million that we got for the radio AWIN, we're about done with that too. Was there a little bit left of that, about 5 million?
Less than that, I think.
Was it less?
Yeah.
So that's 450.
That's what I was thinking, more like 500,000.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Comptroller Sherman? Thank you, sir. Item 7 is an ordinance authorizing a retroactive step plan compensation for certain county employees. JP Koger?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So tonight, I'm introducing this ordinance to correct a compensation issue that affected attorneys in the Public Defender's Office and the Prosecuting Attorney's Office. I've been working on this since the first of the year. It's taken me a while to get here, but it's here. This ordinance is not a new raise for anyone. It simply ensures that those employees receive the compensation under the step plan that they should have been applied under the county's adopted pay structure in 2025. And I recall when we were discussing the budget last year, then to my knowledge, that's the first time this came up, that this court knew about that, was during the budget process. And I was surprised to hear that, that some attorneys did not get the step pay. So that led to the court amending the budget ordinance for this year to state clearly that all county employees are included in the step plan. The financial impact is minimal. The Public Defender's Office already has funds in their 2026 budget to cover this. And I confirmed that with the comptroller today, and I have confirmed that with the HR department. The Prosecuting Attorney's Office needs a new appropriation of $4,199.67, with a very small amount compared to our overall county budget. These attorneys serve on opposite sides of the courtroom, but both play an essential role in making our justice system function. This ordinance simply ensures they receive the compensation they were already entitled to receive in 2025. And I have invited both public defenders and the prosecutors to come speak to the court or answer any questions. Mr. Brandon Carter, the prosecutor, had a conflict, so I don't know if anyone from his office is here tonight, but we do have some people from the Public Defender's Office. And so I don't know if the court wants them to talk now or during the public comment time, but I would make a motion that we pass this ordinance to the full quorum court with a due pass resolution.
Second.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion to pass this full quorum court to due pass recommendation by JP Koger, second by JP Dennis. Additional discussion, JP Lemming.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to make sure I'm on the right page, but I think last year when this was in the budget that it was talked about that the employees that was left out of the budget last year was paid by the state of Arkansas. Do they get paid by the state of Arkansas or they get paid by Washington County? I asked that question last year to this year, so can anybody answer that question?
So my understanding, and correct me please, is it's split for both of those offices. Some of the employees are state employees paid by the state. Some of the employees are county employees paid by the county. They get our health insurance, the whole 9 yards.
So the state employees that works for Washington County gets a state check, but they get all of our benefits?
No.
Okay,
No.
just, that's what I
No,
need
the state
verified.
employees get only the state benefits. They're not included in this. This is
Okay.
just county, those that are
Okay.
in those offices in the county. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
May I go ahead and speak? Okay. I'm Leanna Houston. I'm an attorney at the
Can you get closer to the mic, please?
I'm Leanna Houston. I'm an attorney at the Washington County Public Defender's Office. I'm a state employee. I am not affected by this. I don't get any of the money from this. I'm the chief deputy at the office. I'm not here tonight asking for more money. It's already in our budget. The money is there. I'm asking for our county positions, they're county employees, completely county employees, to be provided with the step raises retroactively that they did not receive last year. The money was in last year's budget. They didn't get it on their anniversary hire dates. The money was not spent and it was returned to the general fund. Last fall, with JP Lyons' help, the quorum court reaffirmed that these county employees were included in the STEP plan. Last fall, when it was all being discussed, some of you, like JP Ecke, talked about and suggested that it needed to be done retroactively to their anniversary date from last year. Our 2026 budget then included for it to be done retroactively and continue forward. That's not being done. It's not been approved. They say I still need another ordinance. But the money is there. I just need an ordinance telling them to do it, as I understand it. Last fall, Judge Taylor and Judge Bryan wrote JP Lyons a letter talking about these county attorneys and how they were essential to the criminal justice system. These county attorneys last year were often in court very late. I remember Valentine's Day last year, none of us went to dinner with our loved ones. We were in court. We were pleading cases. We were doing jury trials. We were moving that clogged docket that has been a problem. They are required under the Constitution to be here, to be representing the clients, and to be part of the criminal justice system. Without them, that system would come to a halt. The jail would be full. We could not get people and their cases moving along. The money referred to in this ordinance has been approved for our office. It is in our budget. I don't take these things lightly. For the last several years, our office has only asked for a less than a 2% increase in our budget every year. I try really hard to respect the quorum court, to respect the budget and the budget process, and to respect the taxpayers and their money. But I am asking that these attorneys be given what they should have received last year in the 2025 budget. It's already there, and I'm asking for you all to confirm that they should get it retroactively and moving forward. They help with the jail, getting the people out, they help with the backlog of cases, and they help the criminal justice system continue moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. JP Ricker?
The way I understand it, this ordinance will take all of the public defender's office and the prosecutor's office attorneys that take a county check and move, it'll make sure that they're in our step system where they're supposed to be, right?
It'll give them retroactive in the step plan that they should have gotten last year,
Okay.
except for the decision. that was
All
made.
right.
Yes, sir. So my view on that, I do support this. You know, the whole step plan was sold to us as a quorum court as something that would be fair for all county employees. So I'm a little baffled that a decision would be made that certain county employees wouldn't be eligible for the step plan. It wasn't the intent. It wasn't the way it was sold to us when we were all sitting here talking through it. I don't agree with the step plan, but it is better than what we had before. And as was stated earlier, these two offices play a huge role in the effort that a couple of judges are making and making huge difference in getting rid of the backlog that we have. Without them, that wouldn't happen, right? So I've got to sit back and question the decision that was made, and was it really a decision that was made based on what's in the best interest of the county? Because that risk employees leaving, thereby not having the staff to staff the roles needed to reduce that backlog in the justice system. So really baffled. I think wasn't where it should be. I think last year's budget was clear that all county employees would be part of the step plan. As was stated, we did an amendment to make it black and white. It's not black, it wasn't black and white, but now it is. I think this is a disservice to those employees, and I think it's a mistake that was made and needs to be corrected, and we as a quorum court need to correct that. J.P. Rio Stafford.
Thank you, Chair. I have to agree with everything that you just said. I also don't understand how these prosecutors and public defenders' attorneys got left out. I remember back in 2024, at the end of 2024, when we were voting on the 2025 budget, I thought we were including all county employees that hadn't already been included, and I don't understand why they got left out. It wasn't the intention of what I voted on or what I thought I was voting on. So I wanted to, the folks who are here and watching, I want to apologize for that, and I hope I hope we can move this forward and make it right. Because to me, this is correcting something that should have been done to begin with. And again, like J.P. Coker said, I didn't realize that the attorneys had been left out until we started working on the 2026 budget in the second half of last year. That was the first time I think a lot of us were aware of this. You guys have done a tremendous job this last year clearing the rest of the backlog of cases from the pandemic. The last email we got from the prosecutor's office talked about how for the 2025 calendar year, that felony cases were closed at a rate 12% higher than 2024, 25% greater than 2023, 5,000 cases closed in a calendar year last year. And, the speed of our criminal justice system matters. It means that people are spending less time in the jail, and that means less overcrowding in our jail, which we know has been a problem that's been going on for years. As we just heard from our deputy public defender, the judges have said that these attorneys are essential to our criminal justice system. And so I don't feel like they should be punished for this work, which I feel like almost that they've been pawns in a battle with the state government. And I think that's wrong. I think that they should be rewarded for what they've done over 2025. We should be doing everything that we can to retain these county employees and to show that we value them and their experience. And so I'm strongly in favor of this. Thank you.
J.P. Bruns.
Thank you, sir. I have to say that what we've done is discovered a wrong, and we have tonight in front of us a chance to make it right, and we have to make it right for employees. I think we need to do that immediately.
J.P. Bond.
Yes, sir. I just want to say it just a simpler, shorter way. Everything's already been said. What happened was we passed a budget believing that everyone was all the county employees were included in the step plan. That didn't happen. Well, we passed a budget believing that we did. So all this does is correct what we did. or it adds to the part we thought we were doing. Anyway, yes, I believe this needs to be passed, the whole thing. Thank you.
JP Ecke?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I may address the public defender and Ms. Leanne Housens, you know that you've always had advocates on the court defending and fighting for the employees. And I know I've been doing that since I joined the court back in 2015. Please communicate to your office that they do have those people on this court, all of us, that support our employees, and you all are a part of that. And just as Justice Pond communicated, stated simply, we believed that it was a done deal. But I guess like in any trial, there's always loopholes. And I don't know where and how that happened. But now that we do, I'm thankful that Justice Cogar has put so much work into this, and it's a sentiment that we all support. And with that, I just thank you for your time, but please communicate to your office that this was something that we believed was already taken care of. Thank you.
JP Wilson?
Thank you, Chair. I'll say right up front that I'm glad to support this as well, but I do have a question just because I didn't want to, well, I don't want us to run into any further pitfalls or misunderstandings. When I'm looking at Article 1 here, it says eligible employees of the Public Defender's Office and the Prosecuting Attorney's Office who would have received a step compensation adjustment, et cetera, et cetera. This is worded, I think, very well so that it can clear this matter up. But I wanted to make sure, and maybe the Public Defender's Office could speak to this if necessary, but is there going to be any misunderstanding about what an eligible employee is here? And by that I mean, if we've had any turnover, has there been someone left in the meantime, and maybe they're eligible for compensation based upon past work? Maybe there's some who didn't get all of this compensation based upon when they joined. I don't know about the makeup of that department, but as best as I understand it, the intention of this committee tonight is to make sure that everybody is fairly compensated according to what we originally agreed to. And the only reason I'm asking this, I don't mean to ramble, but I'm just saying that if the intention is to address everybody here, I would hate to find out later that we have one gray area or one person fell through the cracks. So I guess my question is, does everybody feel like the language is completely adequate to do what we want?
JP Cogar?
Yes, thank you, and thank you, JP Wilson, for that question. Yes, there's a list along with employee ID numbers for every penny that this money is going to. The comptroller has it, the HR department has it, the public defender's office has it, and the prosecutor's office has it. There's a very limited number, and each of those employees know exactly what they're going to be getting. And I have that here. I could pass it around if you'd like me to. But also, since I have the microphone again, I would like to say that I forgot to say this when I spoke. I want to apologize to the public defenders and the prosecutors on behalf of the county for all that they've had to go through to get to this spot tonight. And I'm sorry that happened, because you deserve so much better. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Public comment? Seeing none, I have a motion by JP Cogar to pass this on to the full quorum court to do pass recommendation, a second by JP Dennis. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? It passes. Item 8 is the added agenda item by JP Bruns. JP Bruns, you want to key up your mic and you can introduce that?
Thank you, Chair. I have put together an ordinance I'd like for y'all to look at, and there are some whereases not listed. I wrote some in. I'll be happy to read them to you. But I'm open to language, changing language, whatever to make it secure. Now, the purpose behind this is to move line items that are subjective and the listed funds and put them back into the general fund. And due to the fact, when, I don't know if you all have done the same thing I've done, but I got questioned about several things, so I started looking into credit card expenditures. And just to give you an example, credit card expenditures, we had like 6 or 7 meals that were purchased last year. One of them was for $882 for one meal. And that was at Outback Steakhouse in Springdale. And there's nothing supporting that other than that information that I've got. So the comptroller may have other, but anyway. So I feel that the expenditures for that area is extravagant, and I feel needs to have some better control. I also found out that there was some IT purchases that IT did not have any idea was being purchased. Individuals purchased them with credit cards, and they went to the person's house, okay? And that does not need to happen. It needs, if IT, if we're gonna have a computer, in this case, the computer was about $3,000. And it just so happens, it was 2 days after we gave that money back to the county attorney's budget. Y'all remember that when I was the only one that voted against that? And that situation was when that computer was ordered, and it may have since been turned into the IT, but when I checked it, IT didn't have it, okay? And then I learned and saw where we're paying personal license fees for people that have credit cards, that they're paying using public funds to pay for those through the credit card system. Now, personally, I have got 23 investigations under my belt with credit card investigations, and I will tell you that's the easiest way to innocently make a mistake and use a credit card. It can be innocently done. I personally think we need to take the credit card companies or credit cards and cut them. Okay? There are other ways that we can come up with, and that's one of the whereas that I did not fill in, because if you've got some ideas, I am open to that, but we have got to get this under control. That's right at $7,000 spent on items that this quorum court is not even aware of. And we're not made aware of that. So that is why I wrote this. Now, when do you want me to talk about the whereases?
It's your floor to introduce it.
Okay. I wrote the first whereas credit card use has become extreme for food purchases. Whereas credit card use has been used to send items to personal residences. Whereas credit card use has been used to pay for personal items. And monies have been taken from these accounts to cover the credit card use from other accounts that are out of our control once we approve the budget. So that's what I've written.
I need a motion.
I have a motion, sir.
I need you to state your motion, please.
Okay, I make a motion that we pass this ordinance on to full quorum court for a due pass recommendation.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion by J.P. Bruns to pass this on to the full quorum court with the due pass recommendation, second by J.P. Lopez. Discussion. J.P. Dennis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think we should have tighten our belt on a lot of different things, but at the same time, I can't vote for something that's not properly presented as far as written out, whereas the whereas are on here. This is just too blank of a document to use. I don't think it's appropriate to do that. I agree with you that we should do something to tighten the belt, but that's one thing I see. Number two is, do you have documentation to back all this up? And if you do, why do we not have a copy in front of us?
Well,
Because you're saying that this has happened, but yet you're saying just in general to us, and we're supposed to vote on that, something this serious without anything in our hands for evidence other than you just saying it.
you could do the same thing I did, Mr. Dennis. You can go to the comptroller and get copies
I didn't bring it
of
up.
all.
You brought it up.
Yes,
Why
sir.
did you not bring us physical evidence? Copies of what you saw?
Because I just brought the ordinance. I mean, I don't see you when you bring something to bring a,
So we need to keep this to the motion, please, not
Okay.
personal discussions. J.P. Lemming?
Thank you, Chair. I don't disagree, and I know where he's going with this. It's the P cards that he's talking about, it's credit cards. And I honestly don't disagree that Washington County probably needs to do away with all credit cards. But the problem is, you folks around this horseshoe besides Willie Lemming voted for the budget. And if you'll go into everybody's budget, the judges, comptrollers, everybody, they're gonna have in their lunching, they're gonna have in their computers, they're gonna have, y'all budgeted the money for them to spend. And they've got the right to spend that money. Y'all budgeted, y'all told them to do it, you told them it was okay. But it's not okay. I know where you're going, and I know what you're digging for, and 100% what Robert said, you bring the evidence, I think it ought to be investigated further from here. State maybe, somebody else, auditors, but we can't sit around this horseshoe and accuse people of things that we don't have proof in our hands, and I know where you got that proof, and we can do the homework too and get the proof. But when it comes budget time next year, you folks sitting around this horseshoe, just don't say, yes, sir, let's do it. Y'all study this real hard, and you'll see a lot of stuff that's hid. Day after day after day, hid. And it's, some of them's cheap, some of them's way, when you got small equipment worth $80,000, small equipment to me is an ink pen, a bottle, or a pop can. That's small equipment. This computer, $80,000 is not small equipment. So y'all need to be careful. But what you're saying is very true, and this group does need to look at doing something to the P cards. That deal needs to quit. Let the employees buy it and reimburse them or something. There's more ways. I worked for the State Highway Department. None of us employees had P cards. None of us had credit cards. Every one of them down to the road department's got a credit card to buy fuel at any store here in Washington County. At the highest places, they buy They might slip in some tobacco, they might slip in some water, it's pop. I mean, if the employees need something to drink and eat, I don't disagree with that, but it's out of control, and we need to get a handle on it. Thank you.
Any other discussion? J.P. Koger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I tried to write down what you were saying, J.P. Bruin, and I got it until the very end, but may I read this and just make sure I got it correct? Whereas credit card use has been used to send items to personal residences, whereas credit card use has been used to pay for personal items and monies have been taken from these accounts too, and that's where I lost you. What comes after that?
Well, the first one you missed was credit card use is extreme for food purchases.
For food purchases, okay. I missed that.
And then you kind of put two together, which is fine with me if y'all want to do that, so.
Okay. But do we need an amount?
The amounts are,
I don't know. The reason I ask about the amount is because somewhere, I had a sheet tonight that has some check marks on it. I can't find it right now. I wondered if that's what we were talking about.
here's the amounts, it's on one of these pages right here.
Oh, here it is, yes, okay. So I'm just asking, do we need an amount or no?
Well, I mean, the ordinance would move basically $21,899 out of Fund 1000, Department 0100 to the unappropriated reserves for the general fund, based on the amendment per line item, which has
Okay,
the original budget, which is line through, it's being removed, and then underlined what it's being replaced with to the right.
okay, and one other question. So ordinance 2574, that was a budget ordinance, was it correct? Is that correct?
I believe so.
Thank you, that's all I had.
J.P. Massengill.
Well, I was gonna ask a question, but I think I know what's going on now based on this.
Okay.
Sheet, so we're basically, where it's lined out, we're
That's-
reducing it
Yeah, so what-
to this amount.
The first column is what's in the budget was requested 26 that we approved. Lined out what's changing, so you notice nothing in personnel is changing, right? It's all staying the same. Lined out each line item and then underlined what it would be replaced with.
Okay, thank you.
J.P. Lopez.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to reiterate what I think is pretty consistent across the board, and it's that, yeah, we'd like to see or better understand where exactly these funds go, but I don't disagree with the fact that we did approve a budget, and perhaps within the parameters of that budget, people are free to act as they wish. I would still like to see, if these are substantive claims, that, we take a look at it because we have a responsibility to take a look at things like this. That doesn't mean that, we're not a judge, jury, or anything like that, but it is meaningful for us to understand where public funds are being spent and how they're being spent, and if that spending is frivolous, to have a mechanism to say we need to address this. And I think insofar as this advances that conversation, I think that's meaningful, and so I will be supporting it.
Okay.
Thank you.
J.P. Washington.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I wholeheartedly support the essence of this ordinance. What gives me concern and pause is some of the whereases. I feel that we are looking at one budget when we know that this is a widespread problem. So I think that this body would be better suited maybe to take some time to see where these problems exist across the board, because as this reads, it reads as if it's targeted towards one particular budget. I just don't think that's the right thing for us to do as the quorum court tonight. So what I would like to see is maybe us not get caught in the minutia of one budget, but let's take some time and say, hey, what are the things that we're noticing? Where are they happening? What are the controls that we need to put into place so that when we do present an ordinance, it is well-rounded, and whatever spending that we feel is inappropriate or not necessary, that those things are addressed at this time. Because as it stands, we're doing this tonight for one budget. So then if next week we discover something, we're gonna have to do it for another budget. Then the following week, we're gonna have to do it for another budget. I just wish that maybe we would table this until our next meeting or postpone it until our next meeting so that we all can have some time to talk to employees, and really talk to the people that this is going to affect and ask them, hey, we have the fiscal responsibility to make sure that these P cards are being used appropriately. And let us all help each other so that we can be fiscally responsible, but that the employees are also empowered to get what they need. Because it's unreasonable, in my opinion, to expect employees, you spend your own money and then we'll reimburse you. I think that's unreasonable. I wouldn't do it. So I just would like to amend, I was, I would like to amend this. I would like to make a motion that we postpone this until our next meeting to give us time to all come to the table so that we can have a more robust discussion about this.
So I have a motion by JP Washington to postpone this to the April Finance Committee meeting, and seconded by JP Lopez. So is this comments on the motion or on the original amendment?
I want to ask the comptroller one quick question.
Go ahead, JP Lemming. Oh, I'm sorry. JP Eckes next. I apologize, ma'am.
Thank you. I would like to make an amendment to that, in that I think this would be best served during our budget processing time. Next month does not give us enough time to fully investigate, and not just this budget, every budget, to look at it fully. So, in my opinion, it would be best served during our budget and processing time frame if you would accept a friendly motion to amend it from postpone to next April's, Budget and Finance meeting, to include this item as a discussion during our budget and process time, whenever that starts. Sometimes it starts in July, sometimes it starts in August. And that is our chairman's responsibility to give us direction on what that time frame would be. But making that motion, I do need a second. Because this does seem like it's targeting. I think I understand where he's coming from, but I would like for this all the whereases to be legally tightened up. And without it seeing we're discriminating.
Okay.
And this should not be a political
No, agreed.
football.
So I have an amendment to the motion by JP Eckes to postpone this until we start, I'm just gonna say, start discussing budget. We'll figure out when that is, if that's acceptable to everybody, to my colleagues.
I think it needs to be a definite time. Is that correct? Robert's rule says a definite time. July
What do you,
or August?
Same as we did last year, I think we started in June.
June?
And we talked about it in August, but we can talk about it in June.
Okay, then the motion would be to postpone
June.
it till the
To
June
June Finance
Budget and
Commi-
Finance.
committee meeting?
Right.
And I have it seconded by JP Lemming. Other discussion on the amendment to the motion to postpone? Yes? JP Rio Stafford.
Thank you, Chair. My comment is just that whichever way we decide on postponing it, I'm hoping to get 3 pieces of information, 2 hopefully from the sponsor. One is the documentation behind what's being said in the whereases. So the documentation behind what these specific purchases are that are being disputed. Number 2, how you came up with the new amounts in the amended budget, because we haven't really discussed that, of how the numbers are going from one to another, or what the specific justification is behind changing it from like 1,500 to 500 or whatever they are. And then the third, I'd like to hear from the other side to see if they have any justification behind, what's being claimed, and hear what they have to say on their side so that I can make an informed decision. And so I'm happy to vote either way to postpone it to whenever the majority decides we want to postpone it to.
Okay. Any other discussion on the amendment to the motion? JP?
I agree with Justice Stafford in that because the sponsor brought forth these, I don't want to say accusations, allegations, but brought forth this information, I feel that it is their responsibility to bring forth the evidence that supports their claim, and I wholeheartedly support that. Thank you.
Okay. JP Lemming, do you want to talk on the amendment, or? Oh, you want to, let's go ahead and do that. JP Lemming, sorry, I apologize.
How many P cards are out there, credit cards? Does all elected officials have them?
Well, here's my take on P cards. So the P card
Credit card.
program is managed through purchasing. When I first got here, a lot of people had P cards and actually in their names. We have done away with the majority of people with P cards in their names. So now it has gone to the department. So the department has the P card.
So one card, how many cards are out there today?
Sometimes, well, I don't know that because I'm not the it's purchasing. I can't even take a guess, but
You don't.
to me,
Who pays the bill? There you go. So you ought to be able to tell us how much you pay. How much you pay a month? Just give me a shot.
it ranges from 50,000 to 70,000
A month.
Yeah, but I mean, most of those. Keep in mind, those purchase cards get audited by the legislative audit. And,
That's a joke.
well,
That's
I mean,
a joke.
they
That's 3
passed-
years behind.
Huh?
It's 3 years behind.
Well, it's 1 year behind now, yeah, but
Well,
but
they
I'm
haven't
still
got. They
saying
just
it
sent a
depends.
letter to me saying they're going to start it.
And here's my take on the deal. Culture takes a long time to change, and I do agree that there probably needs to be tightening up on the purchase card.
Thank you.
Which
The comptroller tells us that. That must be needed.
right, but I will say that it is happening, and if you want to verify that with the legislative audit, since my arrival, call them and ask them if things have been tightening up on the purchase card, because they have been tightening up. One thing is food. You are allowed to buy food on the purchase card if it's involved with training. And, you're supposed to have a roster, which all those things come with rosters.
Yeah.
But it depends on how many trainings you think there should be. And I will tell you, since Chief Stewart got in the position, he has tightened up on food. So at one time, the senior directors had a monthly luncheon, bought food. That is no more. Now it's done 10 o'clock on every other Monday, no food.
Since we changed judges, that's one thing this judge did do real hard. He changed a lot of that when he came into office, but we still got a problem with it.
Yeah, and
So
it's
50 to
it's culture change.
70,000 a month, and you don't how many cards.
And
are
a
out
lot of that is legit, though. I mean, they buy IT buys a lot of their stuff on purchase cards, and you cannot do away with the purchase card because it would put a halt to this business. Like the majority of the 50,000 is legit.
Well, the sad thing about it, you can't do nothing anymore. You can't order anything without a credit card.
Correct.
You can't even rent a room without a credit card.
Right.
You can't travel without one.
Now, the other thing that we did is we forced people off of using their personal Amazons and stuff like that with the credit card. Now they're required to use the county Amazon account. It creates a little bit of extra work on their part, but it's getting POs through purchasing and all that kind of stuff.
But you would say every department in Washington County carries a credit card.
Correct.
Every department.
Some have multiple, yeah.
Some have multiple.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
JP Koger on the amendment.
Mr. Chair, I'm not, I'm confused. I would like to speak, but I'm not sure if where it goes.
So right now, we're speaking on the amendment to the motion to postpone, to change it to postpone until June instead of the next, in April.
Well, I think June is too far, but no, my comment is not for that, so I'll have to wait. Thank you.
On the amendment to postpone?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, JP Massengill.
Comptroller question, kind of along the lines of what JP Lemming was asking. So the policies, you said purchasing had the cars, and you kind of alluded to meals being for training. What policies establish, where are those policies established that dictate what certain expenses are legitimate?
Well, they're through the purchasing department and also the judge's office. So Counselor Baker, we put a new travel policy in place, certain things that you can do, what you can't do, because it was pretty vague when I first got here. And so we started outlining what you can and cannot do. I mean.
Okay, so we have written policies that,
Correct.
okay. That might be good to get our hands on what those policies are, so we can at least understand those.
Yeah. And I still look at every single charge on the purchase card. And the stack is this big that they set on my
must be
desk
fun.
via paper.
Must be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, any additional I'm sorry, sir.
And,
Okay.
and I did say, if we see, if you go over 15% on tips, and we calculate it, our AP department, they request it back from the facility. When somebody buys something that's not, i.e. alcohol, i.e. stop cigarettes, when they stop and get gas, we catch that stuff. And I sent a formal letter to the person and their supervisor requesting reimbursement to the treasurer. So.
Okay. JP Lemming?
You do catch that, but, you know, if the employee that's got the card and they've got a well, let's just call the question and get it over.
Okay. I don't think we have any more discussion, so we'll, what we're voting on, for confusion's sake, is an amendment to the motion to postpone, to change it to postpone to June instead of April. So all those the amendment was made by JP Ecke, seconded by JP Lemming. So all those in favor of the amendment to change it to postpone to June, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? No. That passes. So now we're back to the motion to postpone, which is now to June. Any further discussion on that motion?
Does it have to be a formal motion made?
Well, it's already, she made the motion for April, you amended it to June.
Okay.
So we have the motion to postpone, the amended motion to postpone to June. It's Finance Committee meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? So that'll be postponed to June. So next item, last item is citizens' comment, a total of 12 minutes with 3 minutes per person. Citizens have a comment, come up to the podium. No comment? Oh.
Mr. Chair, I have a point I'd like to make.
Okay. Just a minute. JP Koger?
I don't know how else to bring this up, but my ordinance that we passed tonight, and I'm not sure since it's just one ordinance, but could it be put on a consent agenda so we don't have to go through all this next time, or should it not be since it's just one ordinance?
Well, it's unanimous, it's the only item, so it would be the only one read and talked about anyways. I don't think there's a need for that.
I don't need to, okay.
But, yeah, it's a good question. But
Well, I just wondered.
if there were 2 or 3, I mean, that's the whole point. You do 2 or 3, you vote on all 3 of them at once. I mean, this is one vote, so.
I guess what I was getting at is I didn't want the public defenders to have to come back next week if they didn't want to, you know.
Right, I mean, it would still have to be on a quorum court, one way or the other, and voted on at the quorum court.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
JP Stafford. Or
Thank you.
Citizen Stafford. State your name and address, please.
Evelyn Rio Stafford, 527 South Sherman, Fayetteville. I know we're all trying to get out of here. I just wanted to quickly thank, we just had an election. I just really wanted to thank Jennifer Price and the Elections Department and the poll workers for all their hard work they did in this recent election. We had almost 35,000 people cast ballots in our county, the second highest number in the whole state of Arkansas. We had 24% voter turnout. We beat the pants off of Benton County with those numbers. They only had 16% turnout, 2,800 fewer votes up there, even though they have a bigger population than we do. So we should be proud, or the folks who voted here should be proud. A record number of people voted early, up 21% from 2020, which was the previous record. And part of what I think helped make those numbers possible is our election commission, their work behind the scenes to be prepared, the number of polling places they had open. They addressed problems when they came up, and they communicated with the public. So to everyone watching, whether you cast a Republican ballot, a Democratic ballot, or you were one of the 5% of the people who cast a nonpartisan ballot, thank you for voting. Your voice matters. Your participation matters. You're helping to shape the future of our community. So thank you for being engaged. Every vote counts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and everyone. My name is Beth Koger. I live at 3661 Embry Drive in Fayetteville, and I won't take but a minute. What I wanted to say a while ago when I didn't know if it was appropriate, I just want to point out to everybody, if you don't already know this, you can go to the county clerk's office and all the P-card payments are there, all the credit card payments. And the judge signs an order authorizing payment of the credit cards, and it's stapled to that. Now, it may not have names on it, but it's like Road Department 1, Road Department 2, Building and Grounds, you know, like that. But you know which department charged that. And it's very easy. They keep it in a filing cabinet upstairs, and I go by there all the time. I went by last Friday, and the comptroller's correct. It was around $70,000 for last month. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Seeing no additional citizen comment, thanks everybody for coming out. We're adjourned.